Last week, or a few days ago, whenever it was, last week, I told you guys that there is perhaps the most popular speaker in the Jewish world today, or at least the person that wears a kippah, is the guy Ben Shapiro. He calls himself a conservative, he's politically oriented, talks about many political topics, and quite frankly, a lot of his political opinions are valid and on point. Seems even like a nice guy. Smart. Seems like he was smart since he was a young kid, skipped a grade, played instruments, and so on and so forth. Now, if he stated politics, I'd never mention him in a lecture. Why? It's not my interest, nor should it be yours. Unfortunately, once he mentions Torah, then you have to look into things. Now, I already mentioned him some time ago, maybe about a year ago or so, 2 years ago, when I heard one of his opinions about the Torah being completely nonsensical. I mentioned it, but his popularity continues to grow. He has somewhere in the neighborhood of 3 million followers online, and his popularity grows by the day. He also recently moved to our backyard, to Ephraim and Goldberg's community, and he's getting more popular, especially with the election being around the corner. And the questions continue to come to me as far as his, validating him. So I had to look more into it, and I see that when it comes to politics, he might as well be the best. I care less. When it comes to Torah, his opinions are wrong and dangerous. Now, some people think that I'm just picking on him because I'm jealous, or because he has 3 million followers and I have 3 followers, because he is maybe a few years younger than me, perhaps better looking, perhaps because Ephraim Goldberg is his rabbi. I don't know. People have all types of things that they say. So, the truth is, with all kidding aside, I try to tell you guys that, these things, only when it gets to a point that I can't stop myself from doing it, meaning it's dangerous not to tell you. If I'm mentioning somebody in a lecture, it's not because I'm bored. Trust me, I hate doing it more than anything else. If you see the amount of comments and letters and emails and just simply annoying people that bother me all day because of every one of these lectures that I talk about people, trust me when I tell you, you tell me, stop doing it. It's not worth it. But I have to. Why? Because when something is dangerous and there's a fire and no one else is saying it, me staying quiet makes me a murderer just like them. So there's countless people who did not know that his opinions are dangerous. His mindset is dangerous. And quite frankly, the whole modern orthodoxy mentality is dangerous, that I've been telling you for a few years. And this is not just dangerous because they are more lenient when they shouldn't be. This is not just more dangerous when they say that certain things that are forbidden are allowed for them, and certain things that are allowed for them are forbidden, which is really what we all did Tshuva for on Yom Kippur. It's not just that. It's that modern orthodoxy has become the stepping stone for Christianity's recruitment of Jews, in my opinion, from experience and what I see. And I have a proof for you guys that I think is if you don't see it, perhaps you just check your vision. If you do see it, then I think you should agree that this is much more dangerous than what I even thought last week. A few years ago, we went on a public battle against Ephraim Goldberg and his congregation, really mainly him and his fellow rabbis, that were bringing a Christian or Catholic speaker to give chizuk to the keilah, which at the time I was living in our community. We had a very public, noisy, crazy battle, which Baruch Hashem in the end, the Catholic missionary canceled, and Ephraim Goldberg wrote in his blog that he cried that he canceled, because he didn't think that the Catholic missionary was a danger to society or to his community. Needless to say, a week after that lecture was supposed to be, there was a massive mailer from a missionary organization that also came to my house and every neighbor's house, because I saw, with videos about yoke, meaning this was a planned attack. The guy from the Catholic missionary was coming. A week later, there was a mailer in everybody's mailbox or in their doors with a missionizing document from Christianity of why they love Israel, but in reality, Jews are supposed to be worshiping Jesus and all types of other idol-worshipping nonsense. So, befriending Christianity to the extent of welcoming them to our synagogues, our communities, and so on, has become the norm in modern Orthodoxy and some parts of Chabad. We know this because we're seeing it. There was a modern Orthodox friend of Ephraim Goldberg just a few months ago in New York that invited a Christian speaker to his shul. There was a Chabad in Atlanta that invited Christians to their shul just a few months ago, and we reported all of this. And there's many more that we don't know about, or perhaps that we do know about, we just don't report every single thing. The point being is that the Christians feel at home with these two parts of our brothers. And in essence, putting ours in danger. Now, where they're so comfortable with the Christians that they don't even think it's dangerous. Because they think that everybody just be comfortable in their own beliefs, and if he wants to believe in yoke, no big deal. If he wants to believe in a beaver, no big deal. If he wants to believe in a horse, no big deal. No, that's not Judaism. The second you declare yourself a Jew, that means every Jew matters to you, even the one that you're actually supposed to hate. He still has to matter to you. You hate him, but he matters to you. That's why you hate him. Like a Nazi, you hate him, but you're not because he matters to you, because you just simply hope and pray that he just disappears from the world. But someone that goes to gay pride parades after knowing that Hashem forbids it and calls homosexuality an abomination, you're obligated to hate that person. But needless to say, if given the opportunity, help him do tshuva. So you hate him, but if given the opportunity, help him do tshuva. A mechalel Shabbat knows that he can't drive on Shabbat, but he does it anyway. You have to hate him according to the Torah, according to Sharet Tshuva. That's the halacha. But if given the opportunity, you have to help him do tshuva. Now, if he doesn't know that he's supposed to drive on Shabbat, that he's not allowed to drive on Shabbat, don't even hate him at all. Just get him to do tshuva anyway, though. But if he knows he's not allowed and he still does it, then you have to hate him. That's really the law. Now, we all know that Christianity is not a friend of Judaism. For whatever reason or another, this SHIUR, this part of the Torah is like missing in the Torah of the modern and some Chabadniks today, because they're befriending them like they were BFFs. Even though the founder of Chabad was very much anti. Even though the founders of modern Orthodoxy was very much anti all of this, something happened along the lines, and today's leaders or rabbis, or whatever you want to call them, are welcoming the Christians into our own houses, our living rooms, with no barriers whatsoever, and it's gotten to the point where it's too dangerous. Now, Ben Shapiro, may God help him do tshuva, but Ben Shapiro is a very smart person that's extremely stupid at the same time. Why? Because while he's given a gift from God of speech, a gift from God from thinking, a gift from God from analyzing, he forgot to analyze his own backyard. In his meeting by video with his new community rabbi, Ephraim Goldberg and company, he had a nice meeting on YouTube, and everyone agreed that Ben Shapiro is by far the most famous religious Orthodox Jew in the world today. Now, this may very well be true. It probably is true. He's got 3 million followers. I don't know anybody else that does. That's religious. There are Jews that are more popular, but not religious. And he made fun of it, saying there's really the pool is not so large, so it's very easy to be popular. Whatever. Point is, reality is, when people think of Judaism, Ben Shapiro pops up as a thought. This is a representative of Judaism, whether you like it or not. He knows it. Everybody knows it. You can't say, no, I'm not connected to the religion. When you walk around with a kippah on, and you're that popular by default, when you start talking Torah with the kippah on, You don't need any more further explanations to show how much your opinion has to be validated at all times. So when he says things that are against the Torah, like Genom is not forever, or that the soul, he's not sure if it's real, or if Olam Haba is real, all types of things that are heretical, these are problems.
Where we were.
Well, do you believe there's a soul or something like a soul, a pattern of information that represents who you are that floats off the body and continues on?
So I don't know. I mean, honestly, I don't know. And I don't think anybody has a great verifiable account of that. I have suspicions, but again, they're suspicions, less about knowledge. What I do know, and the reason why I'm religious, is that a religious lifestyle that is based on certain fundamental premises, I think makes life better for people. I think that the rules that are set down, as currently understood at least, are rules that are likely to lead you to leading a happier and better life than your pure reason alone. Because pure reason alone, unleashed, without even those moorings in Judeo-Christianity, can lead to a lot of really terrible places.
So I was curious, by the way, that the ancient Jews said the Sheol, and you don't go anywhere after your death, right?
Yeah, the idea of the afterlife is a pretty modern invention in Judaism. Yeah. It really only crops up, historically speaking, a little bit in the prophets, and it's usually the late prophets.
Right.
And it's really maybe as a response to early Christianity or Greek thought. So yeah, in the Bible itself, there's no reference. In the Torah, there's no reference to the afterlife.
So what do you think happens after the death of your body?
So, I mean, I only have suspicions because, again, unverifiable. My suspicion is that if there is a God, which I believe, who exists outside of time and space, and that what animates me is that I'm made in the image of God, and that what animates my capacity is that I'm made in the image of God, that I reunify with God. That basically there's the traditional Jewish take on this has been that there's a cleansing process. Judaism doesn't believe in eternal hell. So it's instead this idea that there's a cleansing process for your soul, the part that you got from God, that spark of life that you got from God. You've schmutzed it up while you're alive, and now there's a cleansing process, and that's what hell is, sort of. And then you are reunited with God, and you have greater understanding. The idea of me being a distinct personage outside of my body, I think, is a difficult one. That's my own personal belief.
So you don't think you're physically resurrected into heaven with God?
No, I think that
something like a soul or energy or consciousness or something like that.
Yes, a form, like an Aquinas form, right? But yes, I think that those are actually two different things in Judaism as well. Like the idea of Tichiyat HaMetim, which is the idea of resurrection of the dead, that's a different idea than what happens after you die, right? Tichiyat HaMetim is the idea that eventually the Messiah comes, that we'll all be resurrected back in our physical bodies at a certain point, which, honestly, given the nature of how science is moving and the possibilities of cloning, is actually less crazy than it sounded probably a couple of thousand years ago.
Yeah, I debunk most of the modern, the singularity's coming, we're going to upload everybody into the cloud, and this is not going to happen. No, definitely.
I mean, that's good to know, because I just feel like the computer would be really weird. It's weird to live inside a computer, but
or that we're living in a computer now, but there's no buffering or little pixels that are going on. You're not waiting for the Messiah to come, right? He's not coming
I'm waiting for the Messiah to come in the form of a political figure, right? So the Messiah in Judaism is a guy who's going to come back and is going to establish peace in Israel and is going to assure that there's sort of a happier world with a bunch of political aspects to it, as explained by Maimonides. But he's going to die too, right? He's not going to come back and everybody lives forever and any of that kind of stuff.
He's a corporeal agent. He's just like us.
Right. And in the Jewish view, any person could be the Messiah. Any Jew can be the Messiah in the Jewish view. Right. So I could be it. Who knows? But it's not, I'm not. But
you're off to a good start.
But these are not as much of a problem as him missing the analysis of his own people. Now, I looked up his very famous, very well-known company called Daily Wire. And Daily Wire has not just him as a speaker, but other people. He has a guy by the name of Michael Knowles, which to my knowledge is a Catholic person, which doesn't necessarily make him a bad person, just needless to say, this is one of his partners. But then there's a guy that I recognized. A person by the name of Andrew Klavan. Now, I knew this face, I just didn't know from where. But 5 seconds later, Yishtabach Shemo, I knew exactly where. Where I saw his face. Because he's extremely popular. He's his partner. He's on the website. He's a big deal. Everybody knows who he is. But I don't care about his political views. I don't care about Ben Shapiro's political views. For all I care, they could be lefty liberals or righty, or it doesn't make a difference to me. Him, I knew it wasn't about politics. Why? Because I remember that face somewhere else. Where did I see this face that has to do with you? in his website. You see his face, front page. He's right there next to him with a couple of the other speakers and Ben Shapiro, all smiling, all happy, all doing their thing. Where do you see this face? You see this face in this very popular, tragic video called I Met MaShiach, done for the most dangerous missionizing organization on planet Earth that I've mentioned to you multiple times, called One for Israel. That's where I saw his face. That's where I knew him. Telling his 10 or 11-minute story of how he left Judaism and became a Christian, followers of Yoshke.
I'm Andrew Klavan. I got the worst possible mark in every class in Hebrew school. And my father used to say they can't flunk you out of being Jewish, but I came very close. By the time I was bar mitzvahed, I was so completely estranged from this entire tradition, I didn't want to do it at all. It meant nothing to me. I gave in, I had to. I was forced to be bar mitzvahed and say these things that I didn't believe. I loved stories. I wanted to be a writer for as long as I can remember. As I studied literature, I realized that Jesus was at the center of all of Western literature. I should find out about this. I should find out about it. I went into my bedroom and I closed the door and I started to read the Gospel according to St. Luke. One of the funny things about the Gospel is that people have this concept of gentle Jesus, meek and mild. If you can go into the Gospel and find a place where gentle Jesus, meek and mild exists, I will pay to see it, because Jesus is a hard man. He walks into these deadly situations. Even when they're threatening him with death, he just says what he has to say. And that to me, especially in this world of lies, that to me is so important, such a great model for any man. And you can't know God, he's just too big for the mind, unless you know him through Christ, who is a man like you. You know, my father was afraid that by embracing Christ, I would be leaving Judaism behind. But weirdly, I never really felt connected to my Judaism until I found Jesus. When I found Jesus, that was the first time I started to think, oh, that's what all that stuff in the Bible meant. That's why, there were those traditions. That's why there were those passages that never meant anything to me before. I always had a connection with my cultural Judaism. I always knew I was a Jew, was happy and at peace with that. But I never understood the religious aspects of it until Jesus came into my life. It's absolutely true. Until I was baptized, I don't think I was a Jew.
So that means this is not like the other guy that could potentially be a Catholic, just believed in his thing. Shapiro believes in his thing, and kumbaya. We're co-workers. There's no problem of being a co-worker of someone from a different religion. But if your co-worker / partner is a missionary, now we have a problem. Why? Because now it shows either you completely lack all knowledge whatsoever of Judaism to the extent that you should never even mention you're Jewish. Needless to say, give a SHIUR Torah about it on your radio show and on your YouTube page. Or you disregard the laws of the sages to such an extent that you're a missionary yourself without even realizing it. If your partner is helping the most dangerous institution on planet Earth, One for Israel is their naming, Machshema V'zicham, run by this guy, Eitan, Moti, and Eretz, 3 Rashaim, all born Jews, all heretics, all have a number one target of destroying Judaism.
I think that we were able to find the missing key, the lost key. And it's actually pretty simple. It's Jewish and Arab Israelis explaining the gospel to other Jewish and Arab Israelis in the Hebrew and Arabic language. It's not something that comes from outside, foreign, different. It's something that we do with our own people, and we do it by bypassing the gatekeepers. We bypass the Orthodox rabbis. We no longer need their permission or approval. We go straight into their own children's phones now and computers.
They're not like regular missionaries. their number one job that puts them on a pedestal above anyone else, aside from their location being in Israel, which is not really a big deal as much anymore, is that their number one target is to destroy the Torah. So they have countless videos about rabbis. Our own Rabbi Ephraim, they have a whole video about him. Rav Mizrahi, they have several videos about him. Rabbi Baghdadi, several videos. Many rabbis that spoke against Christianity, they have videos, Hollywood quality videos against them, destroying them in the public's eye. Surely everything they say is nonsense, heretical, and stupidity, but for the average folks, it's not. What's their support? Why do people go to them, aside from their name being misleading, one for Israel? It's because they have guys like Klavan, Jews, that also became Christians with their own personal story and their Hollywood quality video, missionizing for them. Now if Klavan left Judaism at some point and decided to be Christian in his own private home, sad, but is not as much of the public's business to know. But once you go public with your belief and join forces with missionaries, now it's our business. Now that we know that you're a partner with a guy that claims, that technically is, whether you like it or not, a representative of the Jewish people in the media. Your partner was with him. Now it's a very serious problem. Now I don't know how Ben Shapiro lives with himself, with this knowledge. Maybe he knows, maybe he doesn't know. Either way, now you know. Your job is to share this information with as many people as possible, because this is now a danger to our people. Because you can't say that this is not dangerous to us. Because if his beliefs, his Christian beliefs, were kept to himself, then we say, you do you, you left, sorry to hear, if you ever want to come back, we'll help you out. But now that you're actually part of a missionary organization, that means that you want even Ben to convert. You want me to convert. You want everybody here to convert to Christianity. You are part of the destructive forces of Am Yisrael at the highest level. And how are you doing it? By being advocated as a partner of a Jewish leader by name Shapiro in his show. You're not keeping your beliefs to yourself. You've publicized it on a video that has over 500,000 hits just in one place. I don't know how many other places they have. It's probably millions of hits. How many people have become weakened in their Yiddishkeit, in their Judaism, due to his video? And he's on your same company? How? How? You see, Rabotai, they may care less about everything I just say. And many people may care less and say, oh, you're exaggerating. Fine. You can say I'm exaggerating. And everybody said that Rabbi Yisrael Salam was exaggerating. L'avdil, for me, I'm nothing. Everybody said that Rabbi Yisrael was exaggerating. Everybody said that a lot of rabbis were, Rav Rasha was exaggerating. And Rav Chafetz Chaim was exaggerating. And guess what happened? Hashem said, no, they're not exaggerating. Holocaust. Why? Because if it's not for the Holocaust, in physical form, you're already destroying yourselves with the spiritual Holocaust by allowing the enemy inside your house to marry your daughter. And this is the warped beliefs that are being taught today. How could this be allowed? Love of ourselves too much. When people love themselves too much, they care less about the people. So even though they're benefiting from the people, from their love of the people, he's doing good things for the Jewish people. He's showing the Jewish opinion is valid, the Jewish opinion is good, the Jewish opinion is in line with the conservative people, which is technically the Christian thoughts. Shows it's good. So you're benefiting from being a Jewish personality. But you're hurting us at the same time by giving a stage to someone that is worse than anti-Semitic. We'd actually prefer for him to be anti-Semitic. because at least you would only be trying to kill bodies. But once you join forces with a missionary organization, and a successful one at it, unfortunately, it's dangerous to our existence. When this becomes not a big deal in your mind, that means that you're sick. Ephraim surely doesn't care about this. Why? He invited a missionary to his shul. Maybe the tshuva since then, I highly doubt it. Because he continues to invite those people. Just doesn't make as much of a big deal out of it. This, Rabotai Karim, is one of the things that happens as a result of misteachings. You're taught parts of the truth with a little bit of lie. And 99% true with 1% lie equals 100% lie. So this is a critical moment in our time for our people. Because as Rav Eliyahu Lopian said, when Chachamim said in the Gemara that it's going to be a generation of all righteous, a generation of all wicked, his chidush is that everyone is going to know who's the righteous one and who's the wicked one out in the open in the end. It's not going to be a figment of our imagination anymore. It's not going to be speculation anymore. Oh, he looks righteous. Oh, he sounds righteous. None of that. In the end, by the time MaShiach comes, everyone's going to know. He, righteous. He, Rasha. Yeah, but they both have a kippah, they both have a beard, and they both say Hashem's name. Yes, but he says Hashem is king. He said Hashem needs us. You understand? So, he is a Rasha, because he says Hashem needs us, and Hashem in essence is a slave. And he is a tzaddik, because he says Hashem is the king. So they both look alike, but he is righteous, he is wicked. And in the end, Rabbeinu Lopian says, everyone's going to know. We're going to know whether Shapiro and Ephraim and Manis and Dror and all of those people, we're going to know whether they're righteous or not in the end. Don't bet the farm on what they are right now. Because what they're doing for sure is wicked. What they'll end up doing, we don't know yet. Why? Everyone can still do tshuva. Everyone can still do tshuva. If they don't, and so long as they don't, we're obligated to hate them. Why? Because now they know it's wrong, and they continue. And as David HaMelech says, those that hate you, I hate them. David HaMelech says, those that hate you, I hate them. And Chaim explains, what does it mean, those that hate you? Who hates God? A person that knows it's a sin and continues anyway, surely it's because he hates God. You know that homosexuality is forbidden, you continue to do it anyway, and on top of it, you're celebrating it with the gay pride parades, you surely hate God. You know that certain things are forbidden, and you still do it, surely you hate God. So, and while you hate God, I have to hate you. While you hate my father. You know it's wrong to bring missionaries to a shul. You know it's wrong to have partners as missionaries. You know it's wrong what he's doing. And you continue to allow this to happen, I have to hate you. But guess what? If you want to do tshuva, I'll be the first one to welcome you home. I'll be the first one to help you. Because I want you to do tshuva. Because imagine how great it would be if we could use all of those people that are currently reshaim and use all of what they have been gifted from Shamayim to do good. To help Am Yisrael do tshuva. It would be fantastic. But until then, we have to hate them. We don't want to. We have to. Alvai, they would change, and I will be the first one to do even more shulim. Telling you, look, this guy did tshuva, that guy did tshuva, go to his channel, go to his shul, go to his show, go to this, go to that. Alvai, I wish. There's no benefit in having enemies when they're not really against you. It's only a benefit if it's for self-preservation. Right now, Rabotai, these people that we mentioned in our shiurim are simply destroying Am Yisrael, one at a time, some physically, some spiritually, some both. It's important that we know who's right and who's wrong, who's righteous, who's wicked. It's very important. Why? Because that's part of the Jewish ideology. You need to know who your friends are. Be'ezrat Hashem, this gives us a little bit more clarity of how we could avoid the danger that's in front of us, because we live in a generation that, just like what was said at the end of Parashat Bereshit, where it was a generation that all day in their hearts they had thoughts of evil. All day, thoughts of evil. We live in such a generation. All day people think evil things. All day they do bad things. So we have to pick the few good fruits here and there and try to preserve them as much as possible. If we can make some of the bad ones into good ones, even better. But needless to say, we ourselves have to fix ourselves. And I think it's important for us to know that sometimes it looks good from the outside, but inside it's rotten. These are the ones that we try to bring to your attention, because many people didn't know this stuff. Many people didn't know all the things that we said today, and many of the other things we said in the past. B'ezrat Hashem, this will bring some more light to the people that are looking for the light, and hopefully encourage many more to do tshuva, get closer to Hashem, including those people that we mentioned themselves. Baruch Adonai Le'olam, Amen v'Amen.
B'Shem Hashem Na'aseh v'Natzliach, we're very excited to offer you the new Be'ezrat Hashem app 3.0. It's a newer, faster app, full of Torah, lots of Kedusha by the shiurim that we do, myself, Rav Ephraim, Rav Chaim, where you'll have also newer features where you're able to use the app while you're using other applications on your phone. You'll be able to share the lectures directly from the app. You'll be able to donate online and support our Kyuv and our Torah work that we're doing. And the most exciting feature is that you'll be able to actually ask questions directly on the app and get answers from the rabbis directly from the app. This is something unprecedented, and Baruch Hashem will be able to offer it. Thank you again for all of your support. Check it out. Make sure you have the kosher Torah that will re-energize your neshama each and every single day. Call to B'chava Tzlacha.